G'day guys, welcome to Happy Hiking. Now Magnetic Island is a beautiful island off the coast of Townsville. It's only a short 20-minute ferry trip. It has some of the most beautiful beaches in North Queensland and a whole bunch of really great hikes as well. So today I'll be taking you around the island to see some of those hikes and hopefully give you a taste of what Maggie Island has to offer. The ferry arrives in Nelly Bay, and the first of the walks we'll be doing today is the Nelly Bay to Arcadia walk. This is about 7 k's and it's up a little bit of a hill, but it's a very nice track and offers some great views over to Horseshoe Bay. To get there, you follow the road out to the first roundabout from the ferry terminal, take a left onto Suning Street, and then it's a short walk to Mandalay Avenue where you'll turn right and walk to the end of the road, and there you'll find the start of the walk. Rightio, so we're a little bit over halfway. As you can probably tell, I am drenched. It is tropical far north Queensland and the humidity does not disappoint. However, it's opened out now to a beautiful view out to Horseshoe Bay. The first half of the track is mostly up steps. It's a very well marked, well made track. Very easy to navigate, but steps most of the way. Now we're up on the ridge. It's now a bit more open forest. You get a bit of a better view out to your left and it's much flatter, which is a welcome break for the legs. From here, it's mostly flat or downhill the rest of the way. You sort of follow the ridge along the top of the mountain and you get to a junction where you can either turn left to the Forts Walk, which would be another 1 to 2 k's, or I'm going to take a right and walk down to Arcadia. Now along that road to Arcadia, we pass Endeavour Falls, Sphinx Lookout and Arcadia Lookout. So there's no signs to the turn off to the Arcadia Bay Lookout, but once you get to the bitumen road, just turn left, follow it up the hill, go past the water tank and you'll see this little entrance to the trail, and it's only another 50 metres and it's actually a spectacular view, so don't miss it. So the turn off to Endeavour Falls is a short walk down the bitumen and then off to your right. This brings us to the end of the first walk. Nelly Bay to Arcadia. It should take most people between 2 and 4 hours. This is the bitumen road that you finish on just at the end there, but with the views of Horseshoe, the Sphinx Lookout, the Arcadia Bay Lookout and Endeavour Falls, it's well worth the walk. I'm going to go cool off in Alma Bay and then on to the next one. So the alternative route to Arcadia is via the Gabul Way track, which there's 2 sort of options. One is to walk along the coastline, along a beautiful boardwalk, which definitely does offer better views. But the alternative is to turn left as you're coming up the hill and walk up the hiking track, which a bit more rocky and steps, and it doesn't offer as good a view, but it is still a beautiful walk. So to get there, you get off the ferry, walk to that first roundabout, and instead of turning left, which we did to go to the Nelly Arcadia Bushwalk, go straight ahead and follow the footpath up the side of the road and either continue to follow that footpath or cross the road to access the hiking track. Whether you take the bushwalk or the boardwalk, both tracks are fairly parallel and it's about 2 kilometres from the Nelly Bay terminal through to Arcadia. The bushwalk is definitely the harder track and will take you a little bit longer. However, the boardwalk is very smooth and would only take you probably 20 to 30 minutes. The next walk is Hawkins Point, which as you can see is probably one of the best views you get on Magnetic Island. It is an incredible 360-degree view from Hawkins Point. You look straight down to Picnic Bay there, and looking out the back is Nelly Bay and Arcadia in the distance. So to get to Hawkins Point, once you're in Picnic Bay, follow Picnic Street right to the Nelly Bay end of the street, and when you get to the end of the street, the track to Hawkins Point starts just off on the right. It's only a 1k return walk. It'll take you 30 minutes to an hour. Mostly steps to the top, but not a difficult track at all. As for getting around the island, obviously walking is a great way, but if you're trying to get between walks or even just get home, I highly recommend the buses. Now the buses run quite regularly throughout the day. There are lots of bus stops throughout the island and they're very affordable too. You can buy an all-day pass that you can use as many times as you like. So the next walk that we'll do is the 5 bays, and it's the second of the longer walks here on Maggie. It's a beautiful walk where you get to experience 5 different bays along a 5-kilometre stretch of walk. Now the 5 bays walk starts at either Horseshoe or the Forts. I started at the Forts, and instead of turning left into the Forts walk, you take the right and just follow the bitumen road down to Arthur Bay. Arthur Bay is the first of the beaches that you'll come to, and it's only a short 200-metre detour down to Arthur Bay. It's a nice, small, beautiful bay that's really good for snorkeling, and it's only about 1,200 metres from the start of the Forts. Next, continue along the road for about 400 metres and you'll see the turn off to the right to the Arthur Bay lookout. Now, it's a very short walk off the road, so I highly recommend it because it gives a beautiful view down to Arthur Bay. Continuing on, the next of the sidewalks is Searchlight Tower. Searchlight Tower is a 1,200 metre return walk off the track. The turn off is only a couple of 100 metres on from the Arthur Bay lookout, and it's a relatively easy walk. It's undulating, but for the most part it's not too difficult, and it offers a ladder up onto a platform that gives you a nice sort of 270-degree view out to the ocean. The view from Searchlight Tower is really nice, but there definitely are better views on the island. So if you're time poor or not wanting to do any extra meters, it's probably not an essential walk. However, there is a really nice picnic table that you can have lunch at. Next along the road, after another 800 metres, you'll come to Florence Bay. Now Florence Bay is just like a longer version of Arthur Bay. Again, a really stunning beach, and the benefit of Florence Bay is there are toilets there as well. Florence Bay is less than 100 metres off the road, so it doesn't require any extra walking to get there. And from the Forts Junction, you're probably looking at about a 2.5k walk. Following on from Florence Bay, the next turn off you'll get to is the Forts Junction track. Now this is a very steep track that is all steps, basically the whole way up to the Forts, but it's about 1 kilometre in length. Radical Bay is the next bay, and from Florence it's about a 1.4 kilometre walk. Now Radical Bay is personally my favourite. It's got some beautiful coconut trees as you walk down onto the beach, but it's just a really nice peaceful beach. It's a little further away, so it's usually less populated. It's great for swimming, but I'd only swim during the cooler times of the year to avoid the stingers. And there happens to be turtles that nest on the beach, so it is a very special beach. Next on, it's the walk to Balding Bay. Now this stretch of the walk is definitely by far the hardest. It's 800 metres, basically all uphill and rock steps. Now it's not too bad, but it will get the blood pumping. It's very well marked, it's easy to walk. It's a bit different to the road that we've just been following. Once you get to the Balding Bay turnoff, it's 600 metres down to Balding Bay. Now, I will warn that Balding Bay is a fairly popular, unofficial nudist beach, so just keep that in mind if you're taking the kids. This walk down from the turnoff to the beach is all downhill. It's not quite as steep as the Radical Bay to Balding Bay turnoff, but it is also rather steep. Following on from the Balding Bay turnoff, we're almost to Horseshoe. It's only a 500 metre descent down some stairs. It's a relatively easy walk the rest of the way, and it's at the bottom that you have the choice to turn left, which will take you on the high tide access track, which basically just allows you to get back to Horseshoe Bay no matter what the tide is, because if you take the beach at high tide, there's a tidal river that comes up and you'll likely not be able to get through unless you take your shoes off. And that brings us to Horseshoe Bay. I'm sure you can see behind me that Horseshoe Bay is a spectacular beach. It has plenty of pubs and bars and cafes to enjoy a well-earned drink and feed after your walk, and the bus stops there, so it's easy enough to get the bus back to where you need to be. I'm seated at arguably the most popular walk on Magnetic Island, and that's the Forts Walk. So the Forts Walk is a 3.5 to 4 kilometre return circuit. You follow a nice road up half at least of the way, and the last part is a bit more narrow and there's a few stairs. Now the fort is well known for the opportunities it provides to see koalas, and the forts themselves are actually abandoned military posts from World War II. So there's a number of foundations and you can learn about the history along the way. There's plenty of signs to teach you. Now this wraps up the Magnetic Island day walks. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed it and found it helpful. As you've seen, Magnetic Island is magnificent and it's well worth the trip from Townsville if you're in the area. Thanks again for joining me on yet another video, and until the next one, happy hiking.